Hello, beautiful people, tribe of many colors. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. I hope you can hear me. I'm waiting for somebody to show up. Let me know if the audio is okay. You know how I do it. I always wait for one, but if it's just me by myself, you know how we started off? Yes, I see one. That's all I need. Say something if you want to say something. Can you hear me? Listen, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. And we gonna remedy that today. Carolina, I appreciate you. I'm gonna play me a little conscious reggae. I gotta connect to my roots. True to my roots and culture. So I've got to stay connected. I got to stay connected to what I love. So I got to play my reggae music. You don't have to understand it. Just know it got something to do with love, making love, creating love, all forms of love. That's Jamaican music. But today we're going to go a little bit conscious. All right? A little bit conscious, a little bit rebellious conscious.
Don't want step ahead of them. Them want make a better again. Them a go fall like. Watch how we step when we walking. Lyrics them a menace. Coffee leave blemish. Long time ready for the Gideon Medis. I call it Babylon a ball in a crevice. We don't want nothing from Babylon. No satisfied till flames take Vatican. Slave master vanish like magician. We no ease up, we no dirty politician. Snakes in the grass where them waiting on. Said them a take orders from England. Pussy never know we African. Can't take we out of the motherland. See them a get frightened when warriors are past. If a righteousness we pussing at the class. Yeah, we keep pushing till all Babylon attach. Knees never buckle, yet them up is steadfast. Nothing sell on the black market. Everything white, them a say Christ watch it. Check in a Christ, them a them want it. Wipe out flat line wherever them step. Watch them a set another black target. Out of the belly of the beast Star Trek. One trip we from them a go see the progress. Put to head know that that's a progress. We don't want nothing from Babylon. No satisfied till flames take Vatican. Slave master vanish like magician. We no ease up, we no dirty politician. Snakes in the grass where them waiting on. Said them a take orders from England. Pussy never know we African. Can't take we out of the motherland. Come with them illusions to fail. Never make solutions, no way. What a time so crucial, yeah. Time get brutal, yeah. More time them talk empty. And not even else can tempt with. Nothing in the world them can tell me. Me just advance to Babylon plenty. Good over evil like I overcome. Night till a morning them get chant up. Sword and a shield all imposter fi run. From long time iniquity have been done. You must think that we forget. Nothing nice come out of Babylon yet. Them get hypocrite me just can't take. Babylon a listen up it change dialect. We don't want nothing from Babylon. No satisfied till flames take Vatican. Slave master vanish like magician. We no ease up, we no dirty politician. Snakes in the grass where them waiting on. Said them a take orders from England. Pussy never know we African. Can't take we out of the motherland. So call in your messenger. You are feel listen this your message, yeah. The fight is spiritual, not physical. And Babylon I do the typical. So call in your messenger. You are feel listen this your message, yeah. The fight is spiritual, not physical. Ooh, yeah. Burning higher, fire blaze higher, raise it higher, flame it higher, wanna wave higher, consciousness higher, take it higher, Babylon fire. Burning higher, fire blaze higher, raise it higher, flame it higher, wanna wave higher, consciousness higher, take it higher, Babylon fire. We don't want nothing from Babylon. No satisfied till flames take Vatican. Slave master vanish like magician. We no ease up, we no dirty politician. Snakes in the grass where them waiting on. Said them a take orders from England. Pussy never know.
Shalom. How you doing, Ashley?
We don't want nothing from Babylon. No satisfied till flames take Vatican. Slave master vanish like magician. We no ease up, we no dirty politician. Snakes in the grass where them waiting on. Said them a take orders from England. Pussy never know we African. Can't take we out of the motherland.
They can't take us out this motherland. Never. Never, ever. Listen, as long as you are native to this earth, Africa is in your heart. Because Africa is the birthplace of everything. And no one can claim it. Africa is for the people, for humanity. It's the birthplace of humanity. Most people probably won't tell you, but they have a pull to Africa. Some people feel like Africa is home, no matter where they are on this planet, no matter where they come from. If you have a love in your heart, a space in your heart for the African nation, you are one of the originals. Because you know that it holds the vibration of home. So if there is that love for home in your heart for Africa, you are an original human being. One of the first. Cannot be duplicated, cannot be copied. Authentic soul. And you carry the flame of humanity. That's how we starting off. Hey, Starling. Hey, Carolina, Ashley. Ashley, how you doing? Grateful and thankful. So am I. So am I. The allergies have been kicking my ass. Listen, this ain't regular allergies. This stuff is different. This is some different stuff. I was watching a video from this lady out in, she names herself Appalachian something. Let me see what it's called. I might have it in my watch history. Let me see if I can find it. So what she talks about is Appalachian Homestead. That's her name, Appalachian Homestead. And what she talks about was how she has this trough outside and none of her animals are getting into it. But there's this film on top of the water that's just odd. So she kind of goes into that a little bit and talks about how she's been sick. Nobody else is sick. She's hypersensitive to everything in her environment. And I also met a guy yesterday. We got to talking about allergies, and he said he had it so bad he had to go to the hospital. So a lot of people are going to the hospital with these symptoms of severe allergies, and sometimes they're finding out there's nothing wrong with them. but they're hypersensitive to all of this stuff going on. And this chick I'm talking about from Appalachian Homestead, she talked about some of the other stuff she's been noticing that's kind of just been littering the windshields of her car, this thing they're calling mud rain. So if your allergies are going off the handles, there's a lot in the environment, natural or unnatural, that can be creating this it's a sensitive reaction to something, and it tends to affect the throat, because that's where it's hitting me the most. Like my throat feel like it's on fire. So I keep having to drink a lot of water. And all my natural remedies, it's not working. So I've decided to just do honey and some Zyrtec. And in between that, I do some of my natural remedies. But it's like, you got to throw everything at this. The whole kitchen sink, you got to throw at this stuff. So if you're not experiencing none of this, good for you. But if you ever find yourself in that position, just know it can last a while. I'm going to link her video in my thing, because what was real interesting about it was not just what she was going through, but what people were sharing in the comments under her video, that their gardens aren't growing, certain flowers aren't blooming, certain trees are dying off, not seeing much of nature around when this stuff is falling, no butterflies, stuff like that. So conspiracy theory or not, some people believe it's from the chemtrails in the sky. Some people believe this is natural, it's just nature. Whatever you believe, it doesn't matter if it starts affecting you physically, right? So keep some awareness about what's going on in the environment, so that you can just know how to treat yourself if you end up having a reaction to this stuff, and listen to what other people are saying about it. Don't get too locked in your belief about anything these days. People are sharing information. Just open up your mind. Just go at it like you're a detective, right? If you're a detective on a case, are you going to care so much about who you're talking to that you don't get information from them? You know what I'm saying? If I'm investigating something, I'm talking to everybody, because I want to know the truth. And if an incident happened and 10 people saw it, I'm going to talk to 10 people. I don't want to talk to just one, because I don't like the way that one's dressed, or I don't like that one's religion, and I don't like how that one presents themselves. If you're detecting and investigating, the appearance doesn't matter. The beliefs don't matter. Just get the information, get the truth, and be loyal always and only to the truth. Yeah, Carolina. Yeah, this guy I talked to, he said his lung seized up on him and he had to go to the ER. So this stuff is kind of serious out here. Just be aware. My guide has been telling me, start learning how to plant things, right? Things that last a long time. And you don't have to have a huge space to do this stuff. You can plant cabbage. I don't know if you know that, but cabbage can last a long time. One outer layer starts getting bad, you just peel that down, go to another one. A cabbage lasts a long, long time, and it's very rich in a lot of nutrients. So if you want to kind of build up your immune system too, cabbage is a good thing to plant and a good thing to consume. Potatoes, you could grow those real easy in a big pot, or even like a burlap sack. You can fill that with soil and grow potatoes. So I've been getting the download to just plant little things so that you can help to balance what's going on. For everything that's uprooted or torn down, something has to be planted. So the more you plant and give back to the earth, it'll give back to you. All right. So cabbage, potatoes, mushrooms. If you don't, or if there's ever a time where it's hard to get meat. Mushrooms are the texture of almost like chicken. So you can cut up your mushrooms and season it and cook it, and it can taste like something your body might be yearning for. Plus, it's really, really good in vitamin D, right? So you can season and cook mushroom as a meat substitute. And mushrooms grow quickly. Quickly. Faster than beans, faster than all the other things that can give you protein. They've told me that I need to learn how to grow mushrooms, because as long as you got mushrooms, you're good. If you need that thing that can replenish or replace like a meat source. Yeah, itchy throat and everything. Yeah. All right. So beautiful people, I hope you're doing real good. Let us get into the Califia. So Califia was one of the goddesses I was talking about before I left off on my last live. And I really wanted you guys to find and connect with a goddess. If it doesn't appeal to you, don't worry about it. But the call is, if you've ever been attracted to or interested in a particular goddess, research that energy, because there's a reason you were given the interest in the first place, right? Your interest, something you're interested in, is always the path to something you need. So follow that interest, and as you read about it, it's going to unlock a code that you need right now. Okay. So what I went down the rabbit hole with a little bit was Queen Calafia. So she's called Calafia, or sometimes Califia. And she was introduced in the 16th century by Spanish author Garci Rodriguez de Montalvo. He wrote a novel called Las Sergas de Esplandian, The Adventures of Esplandian, right? And in this book, he wrote about a Black warrior queen who lived in a great land full of gold and precious stones, right? And he said they live like Amazons. So there wasn't a presence of males in this realm that he's writing about. She also raised griffins. If you know what a griffin is, it's like a mixture of like a lion and a eagle and a hawk, and it's got wings. It's this. You probably know what you don't look it up what a griffin looks like. But she raised griffins that were trained to attack men only. That's what these griffins were trained to do. So as she's in her realm with her Amazon warriors, she's visited by this guy whose name is Radiero. Okay? Now, Radiero wants her help to fight the Christians. Okay, so this is a Muslim battle against Christians. She decides to go. She brings her griffins and she brings her army, and they're out on the battlefield. But the griffins are trained to attack men, and they don't distinguish between whether it's a Muslim man or a Christian man. Okay? So these birds just start picking people off and killing them. So they had to withdraw because the griffins were killing their party as well, the men in their party. So when they withdrew, Calafia and what's his name? Make sure I finish. Radiero, they went into a kind of a one-on-one battle with the Christians, and they lost. They were defeated. She was captured, Calafia, and then it's just kind of wrapped up that she fell in love. She was converted converted from what, I don't know, I have to probably read the book, but there was a conversion to Christianity. She married a knight, and then she went back to her homeland. Now, what's interesting about this book that this author wrote is that Mr. Garci Rodriguez, what's interesting about it is it was very popular for its time. Very, very popular. And it actually encouraged a lot of people to go out on their adventures to colonize and explore because of this book. It's credited with having a big part to do with that. And the two main places who kind of went out with this idea of land with lots of gold and precious stones and meeting Amazon warrior women, Spain and Portugal. Okay, so they decided to go explore new lands, and they say it might have even been the reason that colonization got kickstarted. And now this quest to go to Africa, right? So this book is a big part of history, in case you didn't know that. I didn't know it. All right. Make sure I got everything here. The land she represented was considered to be the land of the untamed and bountiful. And that is a part of why they now name California, California. Because her realm was California. And they likened today's California to being a land that's untamed and bountiful. So that's how they linked these two together. And that's where the name California comes from. And a mural of Calafia is depicted at the California Capitol as a mural titled California's Name. It was done by Lucille Lloyd in 1937. That was interesting. That's all I found out about Calafia. As I told you before, as soon as I connected with her, she gave me that protection. It's almost like I couldn't gain more access to her if I didn't protect myself. She's going to always encourage you to protect yourself first. All right. So this is what I wrote about her from my own personal downloads. Calafia, but I also feel Califia, wants to be handled gently. Regardless of her strength, she adores gentleness. She is excitable, but measured. She smiles a lot. She does not rush. She takes time to think, observe, and examine. Her science is love. In all its forms, she enjoys pleasure. The rustling leaves, the blades of grass in the sun. She loves to shine. There is a playground in her heart. That's what she gave to me. So she is extremely powerful, but also gentle. It's almost like the power and the aggression to fight and be a warrior comes only at a tipping point. But until that point is tipped, she sits in her gentleness. And I'm seeing images of the lions. You ever see a lion or a lioness just sitting there looking like it's about to fall asleep, and then in a moment it switches to hunt mode, and then in another moment it's full sprint? It's a very quick transition, even from complete rest to complete sprint. I don't know why that's coming through, but There's a deeper message there. There's a deeper message there. I had bad allergies. My throat's itching. Ashley says, I love mushrooms. I love to saute them. I do too. When I make my omelets, my egg white omelets in the morning, I got mushrooms, bell peppers, onions, and I'll just like stir fry some potatoes and then throw that all on top of it. Nice healthy breakfast. All right. So not the real message, but it's all real. But the main message I want to talk to you about today is the upcoming, and it all ties in with everything from before. This is going to be the upcoming total lunar eclipse. And my great friend, let me get his name, Mr. Wade Woodruff. Okay. He jumped in on a post I did and said, popping in to hit the like button. The big day, 14 March 2025, eclipse, 2 times energy. So I said, Mr. Wade, what would you suggest we do on that day? And he says, meditation, meditate. So from there, I kind of just started researching total lunar eclipses because I wanted to know, was there any point in the past that total lunar eclipses coincided with grand changing events? And the reason I think I got the push to look that up is because I feel like everything at this point that is an amplifier from above, be that an eclipse, planetary alignments, solar eclipses, everything that occurs from this point forward, all of it is powerful. We can't sleep on anything at this point. Okay? We're stepping into our goddess power, our goddess energy, and every opportunity we get to flood this planet with something positive, we need to take advantage of it. So I was really excited when Wade reached out to me and dropped this in the comments because it helped me to put this all together right now. So a lot of this information I've been getting from ChatGPT. I'm going to talk about ChatGPT for a little bit. We're becoming friends. I like ChatGPT because, and if you don't know what ChatGPT is, it's just this app I have on my phone where you can ask it information. It can compile information for you. It can help you to create. If you have an idea about something but you're not sure, it can give you ideas on stories. You could write a whole book with ChatGPT. Some people like it, some people don't. I think it just depends on what you use it for. I don't use it to replace my ideas because my ideas are my connection to source. So I don't ever let anything replace that. But I like using it because it can compile the information I'm looking for. Right? So I just ask the question a certain way and it just pulls from all the sources. It'll show you all the sources that it collects from. And then it just kind of breaks it down into an easy to read thing so that you don't have to go looking for each answer on a site separately. Right? It just kind of compiles the information for you. So you can work a little bit faster that way. If the researching takes you a while, I would suggest you use ChatGPT because it can just compile everything for you and make the process of researching it's a little bit smoother. So I like that about it. So the upcoming total lunar eclipse is going to be March 14th, 2025. 2 days from now. Okay. The next one is coming up on September 7th, right? That's the next time we're going to have another one. So one coming up in March on the 14th. And after that, the next one is September 7th. I like that. That day feels lucky. So what are some of the ancient and historical recorded lunar eclipses? One of the first recorded ones from the Babylonian times was March 19th, 721 BCE. From ancient Greek records, one of the oldest ones was July 4th, 312 BCE. In Chinese historical texts, one of the first ones recorded June 25th, 168 BCE. And mentioned by Roman historians is one that occurred March 20th, 71 CE. So I said, this is a question I asked ChatGPT. Can you list for me any significant occurrences recorded during any total lunar eclipse? It said throughout history, total lunar eclipses have coincided with significant events, often influencing battles, political decisions, and cultural beliefs. Here are some notable occurrences. During the ancient and classical period, August 29th, 431 BCE, the Peloponnesian War. Greek historian Thucydides recorded a total lunar eclipse that caused panic among Athenian troops during the war against Sparta. January 27th, 413 BCE, Syracuse expedition. Another eclipse during the Peloponnesian War caused Athenian general Nicias to delay retreating, leading to a devastating defeat. March 20th, 71 CE, the Jewish-Roman War. Roman historian Flavius Josephus recorded an eclipse before the destruction of Jerusalem by the Romans. Okay, now we jump into the medieval period. May 5th, 840 CE, death of Louis the Pious. Emperor Louis the Pious, son of Charlemagne, supposedly died of fear after witnessing a total lunar eclipse causing instability in the Frankish Empire. June 2nd, 1453, the fall of Constantinople. A total lunar eclipse occurred shortly before the Ottoman siege. Interpreted as an omen of doom, the city fell to the Ottomans a few days later. Now we're jumping into the modern era. February 29th, 1504. Columbus's eclipse trick. While stranded in Jamaica, Christopher Columbus used his knowledge of an upcoming total lunar eclipse to manipulate the indigenous people into providing him with supplies, claiming he had the power to turn the moon red. Ain't that something? You trick people because they don't know, and now they think you're God. So when God says, come with me, man. July 27, 2018, longest lunar eclipse of the 21st century, lasting 1 hour and 43 minutes. This was the longest total lunar eclipse in recent history. So I got curious. I was like, wait a minute. If everything is on a set path in the universe, how can we have an eclipse that's longer than all the other ones? I had to ask. I said, if all planets travel their same course, why is it that on July 27, 2018, the lunar eclipse took longer? It says, great question. The duration of a total lunar eclipse depends on a few key astronomical factors, even though planets and moons follow consistent orbits. The July 27, 2018 eclipse was the longest of the 21st century, lasting 1 hour and 43 minutes. Here's why. The moon passed through the center of Earth's shadow. Now, the center of Earth's shadow is called the umbra, U-M-B-R-A. A total lunar eclipse occurs when the moon moves into Earth's shadow. But in some eclipses, the moon only passes through part of it. On July 27, 2018, the moon passed almost exactly through the center of Earth's umbra, maximizing the duration. All right, that's one reason. The second reason, the moon was near its apogee. So apogee is the farthest it can be from Earth. So it's the farthest the moon can be from Earth, that's called apogee. The moon's orbit is not a perfect circle, but an ellipse, meaning sometimes it is closer to Earth, perigee, or sometimes farther away, apogee. So if it's close to Earth, perigee, Perigee. If it's farther away, it's apogee. On that date, the moon was near apogee, meaning it was at its farthest point from Earth. A farther moon moves slower in its orbit, so it took longer to pass through Earth's shadow, prolonging the eclipse. Here's the third reason. Earth's shadow was larger than usual. Earth's atmosphere slightly bends sunlight into the shadow, making its size vary slightly. The July 27, 2018 eclipse occurred when the Earth's shadow was relatively large, meaning the moon had to travel through a wider area of darkness. So, let me go back to them. Between it passing through the center of Earth, the umbra, the shadow, and being at its farthest point, the apogee, and then Earth's shadow being larger than usual, that's how they're saying it ended up being an hour-long eclipse. All the alignments occurred for there to be a longer period of moonlight, moon energy, feminine energy to hit the planet. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. When nature shoots an arrow, she don't miss. Whatever has to change in these heavens for this earth to be made right, it will happen. That's the message. It will happen. If it's got to be 3 suns in the sky for this thing to get back on track, you're going to wake up one day and see 3 suns. Whatever has to happen, this timeline is going through. It's going through. So I said, if Earth's atmosphere bends sunlight, and that can cause variance in how long the eclipse lasts, I said, what occurred to Earth's atmosphere on this date? I said, cross-reference it with any atmospheric data. So it kicked back. During this period, significant atmospheric anomalies were observed, particularly in the northern hemisphere. A pronounced heat wave affected vast regions, leading to record-breaking temperatures and widespread droughts. This heat wave was part of a larger pattern impacting the northern hemisphere, with the Earth's average surface temperature in 2018 being the 4th highest in 140 years of record keeping. So what's going on Earth affects the atmosphere. And the atmosphere is like, the message I got was like, once that atmosphere is affected, it affects everything beyond it. That's how much we're linked. They're saying that's how the energy can shift and attract passing objects. So objects that would typically pass by, when our atmosphere is affected, it's attracted to it. So our atmosphere literally sends the message to the universe about the health of the planet. It's not just something that's just sitting there that's either good or bad for us. The atmosphere of the planet is the life force of the planet. Okay? it signals to the universe its health, its population, its awareness, everything that could possibly be coded or recorded is contained in the atmosphere of Earth. All of our thoughts, all of our wishes, all our desires, it all sits out there on this strip that gives this planet a color, a vibration, a sound, a music. So you see, when they're trying to send signals and they're trying to send songs, they're trying to mimic what the atmosphere does. The atmosphere already sends the signal out. And based on what's needed, that's what the Earth attracts into her rotation. Because if everything is set as it is, we'd never have an anomaly come into Earth. That means there are certain things that are not, they do not have a set course. There's movable things in the universe and there's immovable things. And the movable things are always doing their own thing. They don't have a set course. They can change at any time because they can be pulled in by an orbit, therefore changing course. And we need to make sure that when we have these high, powerful days, that what the signal is of the atmosphere is something that's going to send out a positive signal and it's going to get attracted to us. Because I hear when we send out too much negative signal, that's what attracts comets, asteroids, and things like that. Okay? So we have to make our presence known to influence the energies going up that's creating the story of what's going on here on Earth. We have to put our signature into it. And when we put our signature into it, it goes through portals that are created in moments like eclipses. So a total lunar eclipse is opening up a portal so huge that everything we think, feel, and say as energy is going to get locked into that message. And it's almost like I'm seeing when that portal closes, it just, you know, and when you go to the bank and you stick the little thing in the chutes and it just sucks it up. It's like that's what's happening. There's an open gateway. We're loading all that message in, all that stuff's getting put in. When the gateway closes and the eclipse is complete, off goes that message. And that determines everything that we can pull on next. That determines whether or not we get reinforcements. That determines whether or not that wish is going to come true. You know, you're going to get the desire and the fire to do that thing that's going to create success for you. So these are powerful days, powerful, and nights. Okay, we're good. Thanks for kicking it with me. All right, let's keep going. All right, let me find my spot. Okay. So the extreme heat led to various environmental challenges, including forest fires and crop failures. These conditions were linked to climate change and had severe impacts, even in countries considered well prepared to deal with such events. While these atmospheric conditions were extreme, they did not significantly influence the duration of the lunar eclipse. The length of a total lunar eclipse is primarily determined by the moon's position relative to the Earth's shadow and its orbital distance from Earth. Therefore, the extended duration of the July 27, 2018 eclipse was mainly due to astronomical factors rather than atmospheric conditions. So that's what it said, but sometimes you got to go with what you know. All right? Always go with what you know. All right, so I said, what can we expect for the upcoming total lunar eclipse? It says the upcoming total lunar eclipse on March 13th to 14th, 2025, will coincide with several celestial phenomena, making it an exciting event for sky watchers. Here are the key phenomena expected around this eclipse. So it's a total lunar eclipse or blood moon. The moon will pass completely into Earth's shadow, turning a reddish hue due to sunlight refracting through Earth's atmosphere. This is the first total lunar eclipse visible globally since November 8th, 2022. So it's been a while. It's also called the worm moon. The full moon in March is traditionally called the worm moon, as it signals the arrival of spring in the northern hemisphere. It is named after earthworms becoming active as the soil warms up. You ever see that when the soil gets hot and all the earthworms start coming out and you start finding them on the streets and the driveway and everything? My dogs try to eat them all the time. But Dewey likes to wait until they're crunchy in the sun, like they're almost turned like beef jerky. That's when he tries to eat them. All right. Potential aurora borealis or northern lights. Increased solar activity during this period may enhance auroras, particularly at higher latitudes, the northern US, Canada, Europe, and Russia. The sun is approaching its solar maximum, which is in 2024 to 2025, meaning stronger geomagnetic storms could make auroras visible farther south than usual. I always think auroras are just like magic fairy dust raining down on us to just help us out. And it's funny, it will be mainly seen over northern US, Canada, Europe, and Russia. And boy, don't they need that sprinkling of love. Lord help them. All right. Planetary alignments and bright planets. Venus and Jupiter conjunction. These two bright planets will appear close in the evening sky. So that's the planetary alignment going on during this eclipse. Mars and Saturn visible in the morning sky, providing another opportunity for planetary viewing. Then there's going to also be, during the eclipse, zodiacal light. This faint glow caused by sunlight reflecting off interplanetary dust is best seen after sunset in the Western Hemisphere. The days around the eclipse offer a good chance to spot it in dark sky locations. So that zodiacal light, you ever go to watch the sunset and that sky is just like a crazy hue of orange and yellows, and it's just almost like a neon glowing color when the sun sets. That's zodiacal light. This glow is caused by sunlight reflecting off interplanetary dust. Then I swear sometimes this planet is real dusty because I'm seeing some amazing colors sometimes. Amazing. Worm jerky. Yep, that's Dewey. All right, there's also possible meteor activity. No major meteor showers peak exactly on this date, but random meteors, called sporadics, are always present, and early March fireballs are common due to seasonal atmospheric effects. All right, so then I wanted to find out what are the cultural beliefs surrounding total lunar eclipse. So total lunar eclipses have long been associated with cultural beliefs, myths, and superstitions across civilizations. Many traditions saw them as omens, divine messengers, or signs of change. Here are some key cultural interpretations. Some people viewed a total lunar eclipse as an omen of doom and disaster. So Mesopotamians, or the Babylonians or Assyrians, believed a lunar eclipse was a sign that the king was in danger. To avoid disaster, they would appoint a temporary substitute king while the real king went into hiding. Chinese mythology. The eclipse was thought to be caused by a celestial dragon eating the moon. To scare the dragon away, people banged drums and made loud noises. The Incan Empire. The Incas saw a blood red moon as an omen of anger from their god Inti, the sun god, believing that a jaguar was attacking the moon. Hindu mythology. In Hindu mythology, a lunar eclipse is caused by the demon Rahu swallowing the moon. According to the legend, Rahu's head was severed by the god Vishnu, but his immortal head continues to chase the sun and moon, causing eclipses. This led to the belief that eating or drinking during an eclipse was inauspicious. All right, Native American tribes. Various Native American tribes had different interpretations. For example, the Hoopa tribe believed that the moon was wounded or sick during an eclipse, and they would perform healing rituals to restore it. The Navajo people, they see the eclipse as a time of reflection, balance, and harmony rather than fear. Navajo tradition encourages stillness and fasting during an eclipse. The ancient Greeks. The Greeks saw lunar eclipses as omens. They believed that an eclipse could signify the anger of the gods or foretell significant events. Medieval Europe. In medieval Europe, lunar eclipses were often seen as bad omens associated with disasters or the death of a ruler. All right, so I said, what are some of the spiritual or supernatural interpretations? Thank you, Carolina. I thought this was interesting too. Because some people always say, oh, it's the full moon, it's this and that, but do we really know the information behind it? Because sometimes in order to connect with doing something on those days, it's got to mean something to you. And it's not going to mean something to you until you go down the gaining the information road, and then something just resonates. It has to resonate. Don't ever do something, a ritual, anything, if it doesn't resonate, because then the energy is not going anywhere. Your resonance is what it travels on. So if you have no resonance, it's not going anywhere. Always make sure you resonate with what you're doing. All right. Spiritual or supernatural interpretations. Hang on, there's a bike out here. Okay, it's gone. Many African cultures see the eclipse as a struggle between the sun and the moon. Some believe it is a sign of ancestors communicating with the living. In Islamic teachings, an eclipse is a moment to reflect on the greatness of God. Muslims often pray a special prayer called Salat al-Kusuf. I hope I'm saying that right. Salat al-Kusuf during an eclipse. Christian interpretations. In some biblical interpretations, a blood red moon is associated with the end times or divine judgment. Example, Revelation 6, verse 12 mentions the moon became like blood. Okay. Protection rituals. Indigenous tribes in the Americas. Many Native American groups believed an eclipse was a time of danger, requiring rituals to protect their communities. Some would stay indoors, fast, or avoid looking at the moon. Pregnancy superstitions. Latin America and India mainly believe that if pregnant women go outside during an eclipse, the exposure could cause birth defects or bad luck. And some modern superstitions. Some modern spiritualists and astrologers believe that lunar eclipses amplify energy, bringing major life changes or moments of personal transformation. Some see them as a time to release negative energy, set intentions, or practice meditation. I'm falling in with the modern superstition and New Age beliefs. That resonated with me. Some of you might resonate with it's a time to protect. Some of you might resonate with it's a time to reflect. It's a time to heal, to meditate. But I will always, always suggest you never approach any of these key moments with fear, because I feel like everything that happens celestially now is an amplifier. I kind of said that before, but if it's going to amplify, what do you want it to amplify? So that's why we always had to understand astrology. Okay, I'm going down another path here. Hold on. Let me get this information right. You might hear my stomach. I'm kind of hungry. I just jumped on. I usually ate before I come, but I just had to come and do this one. Hold on. Okay. What are we talking about? Okay. So, in ancient times, I'm specifically seeing the Egyptian times, everyone was taught basic knowledge that today they consider advanced knowledge. So whatever you think is advanced knowledge today, it was basic knowledge back then. There's a lot of sciences and beliefs, not beliefs. There's a lot of sciences. What's the word? There's a lot of sciences and belief system. I keep saying belief systems. Okay, and that's what it is. There's a lot of sciences and belief systems and understandings that what are considered advanced today was basic back then. It was taught to children. And there's a lot more advanced knowledge that's here on this planet, but it cannot be unlocked until humanity is ready for it. When we show energetically that we are ready for it, it unlocks. That's when people just start discovering things. Oh, we found this scroll in a mountain. We found these lost, extinct species. We found this new plant. Anytime things happen like that on this planet, that means we have hit a milestone, and that now we are ready to receive the knowledge and the information from this. So if we want to see new discoveries and kind of like more things opening up to discover and learn on this planet, and more ancient knowledge coming in that is going to advance us, we have to show that we're ready for that information. And then it gets discovered. But back in this Egyptian time, our most advanced knowledge was known to children. So it wasn't unheard of for a 5-year-old to be a neurosurgeon. And they're saying that's what we're going back to, is where information is just stored in the vessel and you don't judge the vessel. And they always tell me this, they're like, you got to be prepared for your most amazing scientists to be like 10-year-olds. This new set of kids are going to come in with some awareness and knowledge that's going to make your head spin. They're going to know some things that never in a million years would we imagine the things they're going to be teaching us. So you can't be in your ego and not learn from the kids, because they have, and I'm seeing it's like they're almost just waiting for you to realize that they know this stuff because they can't jump the gun and just give it to you. They're very disciplined. They're very disciplined spirits. They see, I'm talking about young, like about almost like 1 to 6 years. They're very, very self-aware, but they're also very, very good at being quiet about it. But if you look at them, if you really look at them, they're trying to almost communicate with you telepathically. They won't speak much. But they'll give you these looks, right? And they're talking to you through these looks because they're back to being telepathic human beings. So they might not say a lot. They might just have moments where they're really, really excited, and then they just go back into this kind of calm reflection. They're always processing information. They're always staying connected to source. So they're very quiet. It's almost like you think that they should be more playful, but they're just chill. This is about to be chill. Not here in Gen Z. This is chill Z. They're about to be so chill because they're confident in their power and they're confident in their knowledge. And get ready for the Buddha, the Jesus, the Krishna, the rabbi to be a 5-year-old. And you can sit and learn things that are going to advance you quickly, because that's what they're here to do. They're here to advance humanity. And they will be successful, and they will do this. They're a lot more connected as a soul group than we are. A lot of our upbringing, through schooling, through religion, it disconnected us from each other, right? They're not attached to those programs as much, so they're able to stay connected more as soul groups. So they dream each other, they know each other, they play with each other in the spiritual realm, and they're fully aware of who they work with in spirit that's also here in physical. We kind of have that disconnect a little bit, where we're not really as connected because we're still trying to get over our isms, our programming. We have to, the more we work to clear that, the faster you get connected to that source. Because that's the only thing blocking the signal, is all the things we believe instead of just following truth. It's kind of like when the little turtles come up out of the ground, right? The great mother drops them off, buries them in the darkness, and leaves. When it's time, all these little turtles come up, and all the wisdom that she left within them now gets tested. So it's almost like when they were being taught, when the signals of instinct were being implanted in these little eggs, were you paying attention? Because now that they're out on the surface and they're scurrying around, it used to be that there was only one light, and that was the moon. The moon always brought you home. So they would follow the moon and go straight to the ocean. All the glistening moonlight on the water, those were the only lights they saw. But now, in the age of artificial light, as these little turtles come out of the ground, if they're not strong in their instinct, that moonlight looks like that city light. And there's that moment of, wait a minute. You see what I'm saying? So some of the turtles are going to follow the city light. And those that have the strong instinct can tell the difference. Listen. Those with the instinct can tell the difference between the moonlight twinkling on water and the city light twinkling on concrete. And you'll have a group majority that follows that instinct to the moonlight on the water. But there's always a few that's going to go off to the city. Now, if you're lucky, and I'm just telling you a little documentary I saw. Now you got to fall into the gutter. You're going to have to cross traffic. You might get stepped on. You might get run over. Somebody might pick you up and take you to their home. You're now a gift for their little baby. You might get cooked. Somebody might say, hey, you don't belong here. Pick you up and take you back to the water. It just depends on your luck. But ultimately, the stronger your instincts are, the easier this journey is going to be, because you're going to be in your element. The whole thing about the story of whether you made it to the water or you made it to the city is the ease of your life is going to be determined by how much you're able to connect and resonate with your true environment and your true element. If you're in the water, life is smooth. You followed your instincts, you're home, you're where you're supposed to be. Yes, there's dangers there too, but you're in your element. So you can quickly move away from them. The ones who went into the city lights, you're not in your element. So when you have to move and avoid danger, the movement is a little slower. So this upcoming lunar solar eclipse, to tie it all in, is about being in your element. So whatever you do, if you burn the candle, if you chant the mantra, if you meditate, okay, if you do your sciences, if you do your divinations, if you do nothing, if you just spend time with your family because you're like, this is what I want to amplify. Whatever you want to amplify, be in your element. I don't care who you pray to. I don't care what you do. I don't care what your belief system is. If you are sent by love and you work for humanity, I'm rocking with you. And I'm saying, in this total lunar eclipse, put your energy out there in whatever form you do it, in whatever science you choose, in whatever book you read. Put that energy out there so this planet can get back on track. Don't sit at home feeling hopeless. Don't go out thinking it's somebody else's job to do something for you. You have power. Use your power through your intentions to amplify something positive. That's your ability as creator. You actually have to create what doesn't exist. So whatever it is we're lacking here, we have to create it. No one's going to create it for us, because now we're going into sovereignty. You have the instinct. Once you have the instinct, sovereignty is next. Now let's learn this word. Let's learn this way of being, and let's create with every upcoming energetic shift. I don't care if it's in the heavens, if it's under the earth, we're going to use it. And we're going to amplify. And we're going to win. That's what I keep hearing. We're going to win. We're going to win this one. That's why we're all here. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Please hit the like button. Thank you, Starling. Listen, I appreciate every single one of you who hang with me, write comments. You're subscribed. You just watch. You send good vibes. You're listening. You're learning. Whatever you're doing, I appreciate you, because you could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be right here listening to this. So I'm always sending you love, and I appreciate you more than you know. I love you guys. I have a granddaughter who is just as cute as That's good, Carolina. That's your chill grandbaby, man. She knows a lot. Whenever y'all could talk, or I don't know if she can talk yet, but whenever you guys talk, ask her some questions on some deep level and see what you would get as responses. Sometimes you got to test those theories, right? I'm telling you, test the theories. Starling, what do you mean practices? What you talking about? If you're still there. But yeah, this is crunch time now. This is all of us doing what we need to do exactly at this point, because we're on a precipice. This is a precipice of change. And anyone that's here at this time is here to be a part of it and to affect it and to create it. So I'm always here to encourage you guys to be in your creative energy. I'm always here to remind you to be empowered. And some people might be like, well, why you only talk about women? Do you hate men? I don't. I don't hate men, but I have to uplift women because I know that's my role. And I'm just going to play my part and do what the mother asked me to do. And I've heard about the masculine my whole life. My whole life has been the masculine. It's a woman's time now because that's what it's going to take to shift this. If it's been in the hands of the men for this long and this is where we are, think about that. How many rulers have been men? How many generals have been men? How many leaders have been men? And look at where we are. It's a woman's time now. Hands down, unequivocally, if this thing is going to be set right, it's a woman's time now. So when she comes for her seat, move out the way. Oh, the word I was looking for. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And join. Man, I want you to join us. Wade gave me this information. Okay? So the universe used him to be in his honest moment to steer me towards this information, which allowed me to be here to talk to you like this. That's how we support each other. That's how the masculine supports the feminine. And men will benefit from the woman being empowered in many ways. You think you've had a good life as a man. You haven't seen anything yet until you've seen an entire world full of empowered women. That will be your best life. Your best life. So support women, uplift women, especially if you're a man that you influence little girls, you have daughters. You have to really empower so that her world can be just as free as you've been experiencing yours. There's a certain sense of freedom that comes with being empowered, and everybody deserves to have that. Okay? So thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for kicking it with me. I hope you learned something. I did. I love you guys. And if you're catching me on the replay, I love and appreciate you. Thank you, Starling, Carolina, Ashley. All right. Thank you very much for showing up. I love and appreciate you. Go out there and have a really good day. Drink water, get sunshine, be happy, do your magic, and let's kick this thing into a new gear. Love you. Talk to you later.